Hello, Photography 2 students. Thanks for tuning in to part 2 of your distance learning intro for a photography class. What I want to talk about in this video is how we're going to get started and some of the things that we can expect from each other over the next few weeks. So for your first distance learning homework assignment, I have a couple of questions I'd like you to respond to and then send back via Canvas when you're done watching this video. You can respond by either making a video and speaking your answers like I'm doing right now, or you can write out your thoughts. They'll be written out in Canvas, and I'll also read them to you at the end of this video. So first of all, hi. Um, as far as our focus and goals, I want you to mainly focus most on enjoying the process and working creatively with the subjects that we do have access to when it comes to photography um, in our current situation. I intend to follow the plans I originally had in place for fourth quarter as much as possible and as best we can. Um, Obviously, there'll be some changes. Um, a The biggest thing that comes to mind for me is that we won't have our group field trips together that I had lined up, um, all of which at this point are postponed. So instead, you're going to be doing a lot of your own exploring to whatever extent that you and your family feel comfortable. So I recommend walking around your neighborhood every day just for a sense of well-being, quite frankly. But you can use this for your creative process with photos as well. I want you to engage in nature that's around us and the elements of spring that are emerging more and more each day. It's really a beautiful time actually outside right now. Um, and just, what a better time to have an excuse to go out and about. Wherever it is that you're able to go. Um, our showcase. Our showcase at the gallery is not at this point officially canceled, but I am thinking ahead about alternatives if we're forced into that. And right now, I foresee creating a virtual online exhibition that we can share with our community and also have a potentially a printable catalog option that you all can help me design. And we'll continue to work with this end goal of developing a portfolio without a doubt. Um, and you can use, any images obviously from across the semester with a focus on our series work. And we'll talk far more about all of that as we go on. But just for now, no, we're still working toward building your portfolio. As far as where you left off in class, anything that's missing from third quarter is still expected to be turned in, so please assume that all that stuff is the same. Um, what's going to have to potentially altered as we go forward is how you approach your series work, depending on what your idea has been up to now. Some of you might completely change your plan, and others will be able to adjust your original idea under the circumstances. So, like for instance, Maida was exploring workers, and she may decide to turn her focus to working from home during the 2020 coronavirus situation. Or Ella, who is working with the idea of home in general, now probably has a pretty interesting angle that you can work with that's different than before, maybe. Um, those of you that were interested in street photography, my first thought when this all started happening was that might be a bit harder. But honestly, I've seen more people walking around my neighborhood than I maybe ever have before. So actually, that could take some interesting turns too that you can explore. For now, I just want you to think about this, and that's where we're going to start with our course content next week. So, some class routines that you can expect from week to week. I'm sure you're wondering how the heck this is all going to work. As you may already know, the calendar has been altered so that we're suggesting you focus on just 3 classes a day, which will be better, I think, really for everybody. So you can find it if you haven't already from newyorkshall.org, Student Life, and then calendar, same place it always is, but everything's been updated. So let's see here. So on the 27th, see, our official first day of class isn't really technically until Monday the 30th. So each day that you click on will have a schedule lined out for the day that always starts with whatever letter day it is, has a little break time for conferencing with your teachers or each other, H period or the next period, some more kind of break and free time, followed with the last class of the day, all about like an hour. We expect you to work on those classes at that time. This calendar is a suggestion, or rather I should say the schedule is a suggestion. We, your teachers, know that it's not going to work exactly like this for everybody, but it is good to get into a healthy routine. So this is a great place to start. I'm going to use this as a way for me to know, like, as my own deadline. So like the first class of the week, which in the case of now is going to be Monday the 30th. That's when the information for that week will plan to be posted. This is our very first one. So I'm technically thinking about this week here as week 1. And then this will be week 2. So you'll have some more information that I'll post by the 30th as we start to get more into content. So anyway, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Probably one of the first things that comes to mind is, do I have to be online during that time? And again, no. Most of how I think this is going to go will be what we call asynchronous learning. In other words, self-paced, where we don't have to be online at the same time, but rather you have kind of like a series of things that you're going to be working on kind of on your own time. And then occasionally we'll use this thing called Zoom to get together and have like a class meeting. So that'll be really useful for critiques, for instance, so that you guys can give feedback to each other in real time. Whenever we do this, obviously, first of all, you'll want to sign up for an account just using your email address. It's really simple tool to use. In fact, it's what I'm using right now to make this video. And we can share screens just like I'm doing right now. So that'll be useful like for showing the pictures that you're working on from your laptop, like within Lightroom, for instance. Okay, so whenever we do that, whenever we have like a critique where we're all trying at least to be together live in real time, I'll let you know ahead of time. And I also recognize that it's not always going to work schedule-wise, so we might break into like 2 smaller groups, or we'll figure that out as we go and have some sort of RSVP system. Okay, I'm gonna jump back to my notes. So essentially, we're going to use Canvas more than we ever had before. So this is the teacher version. It'll look a little bit different than yours, but all the modules from earlier I just closed up. Obviously, you can always go back and check them out. And the stuff, again, from Q3 that hasn't been turned in is all still there. But in a moment when I publish this, you're going to have a new module that's called Distance Learning. And each week, I'm going to post something just like this, where you'll have some sort of content for you to explore, probably most likely in video format, not always, maybe some readings. and then a way for you to follow up with homework that'll be in various assignments that should be spelled out with suggested due dates. This week I've got some resources, and then where possible, I'll post the transcript so that you can read what's in the video instead. Or like, yeah, that'll just be there as a resource. Oh, okay. You guys definitely are going to have questions. I have no doubt about that. You probably have them right now. I made a discussion board that we'll use that I'd like for you to post your class questions on. Obviously, emailing me directly is always an option, but I'd like to start prioritizing using this discussion board. And the reason is you might have the same questions as your classmates do. And so everybody can see the answer and benefit from the question that you ask, for instance. And you guys can respond to each other. So you don't necessarily have to wait on me. So speaking of like when I'll respond to your questions, it could be any time, but I am setting what I'll call office hours every weekday, Monday through Friday from 12:30 to 1:30. And so that's the time that you know that I'll be available for like immediate consultation. So like if you have a question, we want to hop onto a video call, we can do that. Or we can just do like a chat version through email. And that's the time that I'll, if nobody needs me, that's the time that I'll be like prepping for the next time or doing grading and feedback and stuff like that. So, like I said, you can still post and ask questions at any time, but that's when that's when you know that I'll be at my computer, basically. Okay. Okay, I think that's most of the information I wanted to share with you. So now I really want to hear from you. So the questions that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'll tell you about now. They are on Canvas. Oops, wrong one. They're on Canvas. So I'm going to show you how you can access them. Homework, distance learning check-in number 1. So like I said before, you can submit them by writing or you can film a short video speaking out the answers. So how do you feel about starting the distance learning version of our class? 2, how are you doing right now in general? 3, what limitations are you facing that you'd like me to know about? 4, what other photography equipment do you have access to outside of the camera that I've seen you with in class? So such as flashes or multiple lenses or a tripod that you have at home. I'd like to know kind of what you've got that we can work with. 5, what do you need most from me right now? 6, what questions do you have right now? 7, what's helping you stay positive and clear-headed? And 8, what's something that you're grateful for? So I'm looking forward to seeing those responses. I would like to hear from you before the weekend's over, just so I know that we've all checked in. You're like ready to go with Canvas for the following week. So I put the due date as March 29th, which I think is Sunday. So, okie dokie. Let's see how this goes. We'll just take it week to week. I am looking forward to seeing you guys again, even if it's through a screen. It's been a while, so I'm very much looking forward to what you guys create. So, alrighty, be well. Here we go. Thanks. See you later.